Hello and welcome to another episode of the SITREP. Today we are discussing one of the most searched medical topics online, the flu. We will cover everything from symptoms, how it compares with other illnesses, and much more. But before we dive into the details, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes of the SITREP.
Today's guest is an associate professor at Boston University School of Medicine, a lecturer on medicine at Harvard Medical School, holds multiple professional appointments, and works at VA Boston Healthcare System. Dr. Richard Sorrell, welcome to the SITREP.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, as I said in the opener, influenza is highly searched by the public, and so let's just start out with the simplest question. What is influenza?
Perfect. So most people that I know don't routinely refer to influenza as influenza. Most people say the flu. And so the one thing to make note of is sometimes the word flu is used interchangeably with a lot of upper respiratory illnesses, but influenza in particular is a specific virus called influenza. And there's influenza A and B, and we can get into the differences between those, but it's predominantly a self-limited, acute, abrupt onset upper respiratory illness. It creates an influenza-like illness, which characteristically is the type where you really feel it. Much more so than common colds. So many of us can get upper respiratory infections where we have the sniffles, but influenza is typically characterized by high fever. Some people may actually describe, I feel fine, and then bam, within a matter of an hour, start feeling very feverish, muscle aches, cough, sore throat. Depending on the seasonality, the different variants that are out there, some seasons may be more characteristic of having symptoms like diarrhea or vomiting, but the majority of seasonal influenza is going to be high fevers, muscle aches, productive or non-productive cough, and maybe a sore throat.
So you went over some of them, but I would imagine they vary from person to person. But what are the most common symptoms? So if I think I may be coming down with the flu, what should I be looking for as far as the most common symptoms I may experience?
I think for the majority of us, when we do have upper respiratory infections, we kind of plow through it and we feel okay. Flu is the one where you're paying attention to it because you're feeling it much more than others. So the closest thing that I can think of with an infectious disease where people can have fevers and they really feel run down is having infectious mononucleosis. When you're in college, you cannot go to class, you're just beat. And so the things to watch for is I'm not just blowing my nose in a tissue, I'm actually really hot, I'm sweating quite a bit. And it's the muscle aches and the fatigue that actually make it more characteristic of the flu.
So it's like a whole body experience with the flu as compared to a head cold, like you said earlier.
Yeah. And the main reason is influenza. Certain viruses, certain infections, take strep throat, for example. That's a bacterial infection. That kind of hangs in the back of the throat. It tends not to go elsewhere. And so the majority of the symptoms can be in the sinuses and in the throat. But other viruses tend to create more systemic symptoms. So they kind of affect the entire body. So it's not just up here, but it can be in the lungs and it can be in the muscles. It can be in the joints. And so that's why people really feel that.
Hey folks, connecting with your benefits is our primary mission, and the SITREP is providing more options than ever.
Subscribe to our free email newsletter, subscribe to our audio podcast channel, or subscribe to our content on YouTube.
For details and links, check out the description below.